Welcome to the DGLogik 5 channel. I'm Paul Sinenko, and today we're starting a new series of videos. So far we've been focusing on the front end, on the browser-based component called DGLogik to create our user interfaces based on various backends that we have not been looking into a whole lot. So this series of videos will be looking into the backend, specifically DSA. So we'll be focusing on various aspects of DSA connectivity, how to get it connected to data sources, how to use the data obtained from those data sources in your interfaces using DGLogik 5, and how to configure and monitor resources on your DSA server, how to create server-side logic that does things while you're away, and various other interesting aspects. We're going to start this by looking at SkySpark. And yes, SkySpark connectivity is possible, and yes, it's been around for a while, but I think now it's time to really look into it and make it more available to everyone. So we'll first look at where to get SkySpark DSLink. We'll look at how to establish a connection to your SkySpark server and start getting live data. And finally, we'll be looking at what it takes to use that live data to create user interfaces in DGLogik. So this should be interesting. Sit back and enjoy. Hey, welcome to the controls. So let's explore what it takes to install Haystack SkySpark DSLink into a DSA installation. Now, again, I'm dealing with existing installation, so I'll be just installing the DSLink. If you're just starting out and you're installing DSA as well, you can actually download it together with the DSLink by going to dglogik.com/download. And when you pick platform and links, just make sure to check Haystack SkySpark DSLink. So this way, when you get the package to download, it will already include SkySpark DSLink, and you don't have to install it separately. Now, in our case, we do have to install it separately because I already have a running installation, and we start by going sys and links, right-click, and install link. We're going to be doing the install from repository. If your installation has access to the web, this is the best and easiest way to do that. If you do not, however, you can download the zip of the DSLink from the GitHub. Link will be included in the comments section, and basically install it locally by uploading a zip file. So we're going to go with the repository. We're going to give it a name. And we're going to, of course, select which link we're installing. And it's going to be Haystack SkySpark. It's only going to take a few seconds to download and install. There we go. So now we're going to find it under links right here at the very bottom. Right click and start. Right. So it's going to take a few seconds for it to start up. And there you go. So as soon as the path appears here, that means it's started up, and we can now find it under the downstream right here. As you can see, it's completely empty. So now we need to add a connection to the actual SkySpark server to start getting the data. So we're going to do that by right-clicking, going to add server, providing a name. I'm not going to be very creative, sorry. Then we need, of course, a server URL. I'm going to copy and paste that. And then account. And, of course, the password. All right, go ahead and invoke. And we're done. So now if we expand, we can find our SkySpark server here under the link. And if we browse it further, we see that we actually have access to the full data hierarchy, as well as live data and trends. So now we have everything we need to go ahead and just try to use it to drive some of the visual widgets of the dashboard. Let's quickly look at what we can do with the data. First, let's see how live value can drive a gauge in this case. So this is the basic odometer gauge that we can repurpose for our own needs. And let me see if I can get kilowatts here to drive the actual gauge. So as you can see, current value is, well, here it is. It floats a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it out to the data flow, right, which gives me the live value, which I'm going to go ahead and bind to the value of the gauge. And of course, I need to specify min-max because the value is quite a bit higher than what gauge is set up to display. So now we're much better. Units, of course, are hardly miles per hour. They're in fact kilowatts. So there you go. So we have a live value from SkySpark driving a visual element of DGLogik's dashboard. Now let's look at trends. For that, let's go ahead and add a chart. And I can see one trend here. It's called marker. I mean, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's there. So let's go ahead and try to plot it. We're going to do that by dragging this little icon right onto the data flow, which gives us a history block with some basic parameters already pre-selected. Today is fine. And here's the result, timestamp and the value, which we, of course, can now plot on the chart. And defaults will do nicely for us. And here we go. Now we have trend data from SkySpark being displayed by DGLogik's chart. Okay, so that's cool. Now we know how to use live data in trends. There's one important element left, eval. So SkySpark is a pretty powerful tool if you're able to run queries and eval expressions. We can do that as well. So let's quickly take a look at what it takes to do one. Of course, I'm no expert in SkySpark, and my knowledge of the query language SkySpark is using is not very extensive, but I'm going to show you how to run an extremely complex query, an eval expression called sites. We do that, of course, by right-clicking on the SkySpark server connection and just choosing evaluate, and then typing in the expression we want to evaluate and invoking, which gives us, oh, see, I made a mistake even in that kind of query. It's site, I believe. We're going to re-invoke, and there we go. We have a list of sites returned by SkySpark for evaluating the expression site. So you can figure out where you can take it from here. Obviously, these expressions can go quite complex, but this illustrates your ability to run them and get data back from SkySpark. So I think with that, we're going to wrap up with the SkySpark DSLink. We have demonstrated ability of DGLogik to work with SkySpark server data, live data, trend data, and query expressions. So go ahead and give it a shot yourself and go build something.